Matthew McConaughey, popularly coined. All right, all right, all right. I'm just setting up my deck so that I can go live and also letting my student base know that I'm here in case they wanted to watch. That's what I'm doing right now. So the same thing that I just tweeted. Going live again. The WordPress website's live, unfiltered. Okay, so I think that should be good enough for now. That looks like, I guess, my volume is coming through. Last time I went for about 45 minutes or more without my mic being hot, so fingers crossed that won't happen again. So right now on the screen that you can't see, I am just getting logged into my accounts. I use SiteGround for hosting, and so that's where I'm going right now, is logging into SiteGround. And I also I'm going to be logging into, I'll pull that up there in just a second. I'm going to be logging into the website that I'm working on right now. And that website is going to replace my current agency website. Well, we have it. Why didn't that work? Not entirely sure why that failed, so I'm going to go into the back door. Thank you, SiteGround. Fingers crossed I don't have that issue again. But that's another reason why I'm doing it off screen right now, is for privacy. Not only am I entering passwords, I guess, but also just, I suppose my full client base probably doesn't want exposed to the world. Some of them, however, have said that it's okay, so that'll be nice if I end up doing some of their work live. But right now, this is just rebuilding my current website using the tools that I have to play with. Okay, so I have an admin error that I need to work out, and I'm entirely sure how this is going to play out, but one of the issues that I've come up against is something in the, let's see, is it in devs? The PHP manager is probably set to ultra fast, and that ultra fast setting, when you have multiple subdomains, at least within SiteGround, this is out of my lane, that ultra fast has been creating havoc with the subdomains. And even though I'm working within the primary domain for the purpose of this, that might be affecting the primary domain as well. So I've set that, and so now I've changed it to standard PHP, which is great. So now I'm going to go into the caching tools, and I'm going to clear the cache. Okay, I'm going to flush it. And now, fingers crossed, when I try to log in again, I won't get that same error. If I do, then I might have to go offline to try and troubleshoot this separately. Let's see what happens. And there's the fix. So that worked, and reset the PHP to a safe space. And yeah, there we have it. So I'm in. Need to make sure that my plugins are all up to date. I see one that's not updated, and I don't have the auto updates enabled, which I always do that, so I don't know why I forgot, but whatever, no big deal. And so Yeah, that's the fix with SiteGround. Thank you. I had to troubleshoot that because of the class that I teach. I have a gazillion subdomains that I build for my students sometimes, and that's been a recurring problem. And last week we figured it out. So again, thank you, SiteGround, for helping me work that out. If you're using SiteGround and you have multiple subdomains and all of a sudden you get all of these error messages, fatal errors, then go change your PHP manager from ultra fast to standard. Now, in theory, I could put it back to ultra fast now that it's reset, but from what the tech told me last week, is they're working on a solution that will alleviate this problem future forward. But that says to me it's not fixed, and so I'll continue to have that problem. And really, I'm using this for staging, so I don't really care that I'm on standard PHP instead of ultra fast PHP. Um, so yeah, I don't, it'll slow things down a little bit. And if I really want to get things dialed up, then fine, I'll go in and, build them accordingly. So anyway, here we are. Plugins are all updated, and I went on vacation and just got back, and I don't remember what all I've been working on. So, okay, glass morphism. Oh, I'm liking it. Okay, so this effect is created by CSS, right? Where it blurs the background, but it doesn't blur the foreground. And it creates this thing called glass morphism. So what you're looking at here is an image inside a container. The container has been given the glass morphism CSS, but you see that it doesn't blur the image, so that's groovy. But the image does have a drop shadow. You can just barely make it out right there. And that drop shadow gives it a slight bit of three-dimensionality. Now, I don't know if I'm going to keep that image or not. I think I got it off of Pixabay, not entirely sure. That's usually where I go, is Pixabay, for my CC0, the copyright-free images. So I assume that's where I picked this one up. But I like it because he's blonde and wears glasses, and I wear glasses too. And I'm blonde. Well, I was before I turned gray. So I've also applied some glass morphism over here. I'm probably over baking the glass morphism. I get it. I build things and then I dial them in later. All right, that's my process. I don't want to get OCD and get stuck, because then the project doesn't progress. And so I build like super duper fast. I make lots of mistakes and then I come back and I clean them up, as opposed to having zero mistakes, but building very, very slowly, which is how some people do it. Just not me, not this guy. Okay, so we were working what appears to be in the home page. Oh yeah, okay, so that's what I was doing at the very end. I was applying animate on scroll. So I love generate press theme, right? Love it. The generate press theme is super lightweight, hyper functional, but it has limited bells and whistles. And I value the limited bells and whistles concept. That it improves the performance, it improves the accessibility, it improves a lot of things. But a lot of my clients require some of those bells and whistles. And so I have to find a way to incorporate those bells and whistles and then demonstrate them on my website, so I can say, okay, so what you're talking about is this, and then take them to that space wherever that bell or whistle is, if I can or choose to. So the last thing that I was working on before I went on vacation was animate on scroll. And so this feature is not baked into generate press theme. It's not baked into generate blocks Pro. It's not baked into Cadence blocks. It's not baked into any of these. But I did find, fortunately, a little piece of script that I added, and I'll go back there just real quick, that allows for animations to, you see how those slide in as you scroll down? It's triggered because there's a event listener listening to the scroll depth, and it goes, oh, you're coming up. Okay, push, 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 go, go, go. And here's another one. And so I've delayed each of these animations, slightly offset them so that they're a little bit more eye-catching, I guess. They kind of, each one catches your eye a little bit. And I think that that's important. I don't want them all coming in at the same time, because then it just feels like one animation, whereas each of them are their own independent animations, and I want that to be felt. And there's psychology behind that, or less psychology, more biology. God, now we're really getting out of my depth here, but the idea is that we're all animals, and our animal instincts, we have very few as humans these days, but we do have one instinct, which is our eyes are drawn to movement. And so by using some movement on your website, not overdoing it, and to be completely honest, I feel like I've overdone it. Okay, this is not my favorite, but whatever. Like I said, I build Fast and Furious and then I'll clean it up later. Those small movements are meant to draw your eyes to that space. And so the animation on scroll, I believe, is worth the added effort and speed shift a little bit down, as for core web vitals, because of the instinctual behavior patterns that we can't get ourselves out of. Okay, so the animate on scroll was a big breakthrough last week. Woohoo! And now I can offer clients just about every bell and whistle they want, but at speeds that I want, because I geek out on speed. Okay, so that's what I was working on. The animate on scroll, I built a page with just some shortcut to remind myself, and I've left it as a draft so it doesn't get indexed or anything like that. It's just for me, and these are just the little operators that I use to trigger those different animations on scroll. Okay, so fade or flip or zoom. Okay, that's why that page exists. And just as a quick refresher, those are built in the page elements. Okay, and I use Generate Blocks Pro, but this is a feature that Generate Blocks Free has, which is elements. Okay, at least I think the free version does. And so there's a CSS hook that is injected into the head of the document for the entire site, and there's a JS hook that's injected into the footer for the entire site. And so I'll just show you. This is just a link that gets referenced and pulled into the header, okay, for the CSS file. And the JavaScript is the same kind of thing, except it's also initialized. Okay, if you don't initialize the animation on script that you call, then nothing's going to happen. Okay, and that's it. And then from within the page, wherever you are, you can highlight an item and then give it an attribute. Show you that real quick, and label that attribute correctly. Okay, so this is one of those items, right? So I'm going to go to the outer container, and then it's in the advanced. And so we have custom attributes. So this is a fade left. and the duration is set at 1500, so it's a little bit slower than this one, which was maybe set at an arbitrary, I don't know, 800. And we'll dial those in more tightly later. Right. By the way, if you have a question, within the video, you can chat it to me, and I'll chat back or I'll answer back. So feel free to drop in a question if you have one here, and yeah, I'll do my best to answer any kind of question, or if it's just a comment or whatever, that would also be awesome. So here we are. This is the home page. Now this is kind of built to replace my current agency website. So this is built on a custom theme that I built previously, and it's amped, so super fast, but it's not performing nearly as well as my Generate Press themed websites are doing, my client themes. So I decided to try and rebuild. So things that I want to incorporate, I want the latest updates, and I'll talk to you about the concept of why I've made them have to be clicked in order to be pulled in. And I'll probably keep some kind of feature like that. But so what I've done just then is I've configured the website to start with the services that I want to provide the businesses. Okay. I'll do the in the news feature stuff deeper on the home page, or have it, on page in the site architecture, just an independent page. So next up, I think is I built in the testimonials section as well last time, and I like this. It's simple. This is using cadence blocks. Okay. The cadence block has a testimonial feature, and that's, they also have their own little design library, which I haven't used, to be frank. But the template feature, the testimonial feature in the cadence blocks, it's still placed inside a generate block container. Okay, the generate block container gives me the functionality that I need and the controls over here in the editor for background color. You see how it has a gradient background there. Couldn't do that if I hadn't put it in a generate block container. Now the cadence blocks have similar but different kinds of controls within the editor. But anyway, this is a carousel testimonial, and when you add a new item, you have to make sure to give the clicker another number up, or if you remove one, go down. You have to manually do that. You don't just say add new block or add a new container in here like you might think. It's all built into the editor over here, and then you go into the main cadence block and build it out there. So yeah, I like it because I think the testimonials are built with, we're going to check it real quick. They're built with schema incorporated. Okay, so let's just check it out and see if cadence blocks have built these with schema or not. It was actually an assumption that I made. So there's the outer Gutenberg block container, and then the cadence blocks start. And so let's see, there's that button. And if they're not built with schema, that'll be a bit of a bummer. I'll have to go in and add that manually, perhaps. And if that is the case, then it's a wasted opportunity, right? So let's see. Here we go. Nope, that's not going anywhere, actually. Okay, content. So it's not built with schema, so that's an update that I will pitch to Cadence later. I might be able to add those things manually from within the those are the controls, defaults. No, no, no. I told you this is unfiltered and unrefined, right? Okay, so I'm not seeing it there. Fine. Bummer, but fine. What I am going to look at is if the rank math schema can be included. And so those pieces of information that I want pulled through in Google and I want recognized, I'll have to kind of inject them separately, which is fine. It's maybe not the best practice. Maybe it is the best practice. I don't know. Do you know? Now, I don't think I'm using the pro version of Rank Math. Let's go see. Maybe this is the pro version. So I don't remember. Like I said, it's been a while. So no, I'm not using the pro version. So I'm going to go ahead and add that pro version real quick. So let's see, where is it? I don't want that up there. Okay, so 2 seconds while I try and find the pro version for Rank Math. Where would I put you? Oh, in a folder called Rank Math. Yeah, that's the one. So there you go. Install that now. So the deal with SEO stuff is I don't want to get it all dialed in. See the schema templates? I don't want to get it all dialed in because this is technically still a staging environment and I don't want to accidentally send the wrong information. Like send all of this to Google and then say, ooh, actually, that was the wrong page. So, let's see. I don't think I want to use service schema. Let's see what is there. It's not a how to. It's not a book. Totally not a course. Okay, let's just check out service. No, you're right. I'm going to have to consider what kind of schema I'm going to add for those to be pulled through in a little bit. So for now, I'm going to leave that and go to the actual build process. So we'll go back into the home page. Right, so like I was saying previously, I wanted to start with services offered, and I've got the testimonials. I also want to focus on the fact that I work with a lot of nonprofits. I think that's important. So I'm going to build a nonprofit section next under the testimonials. Should I do test? No, you know what? I'm going to build it above the testimonials. Okay, and I want it separate. So I'm going to highlight that container. I'll make sure that I've got the outer container, and then I will add a new container block. And for those of you relatively new to generate blocks, the blue is typically a generate block, but notice Cadence has also gone blue, so that's going to throw a little kink in the works. for visual recognition. Okay, so pretty much I always build a container before I put anything inside that container. Okay, so now we need to make some layout decisions. Do we want to just have, a container that talks about my nonprofits, or do I want something a little bit fancier? And I think the fact is that I don't want it too fancy. I want to just speak straight. Okay. So if I pull these across, they'll get added as Gutenberg block pieces instead of generate block pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and keep the kind of same structure, but I'm going to add the elements, the block types manually, and then drop them in. Okay, so this is the generate block H2 headline element. And so then I will just add under that another headline element. Notice it's headline. This is Cadence version. This is generate block version, and that's Gutenberg, the standard version. Okay. So I'm going to add a headline, and this time I'm not going to make it an H2. I might try an H3 for this content. Okay. And then, I don't know if you know this, that was Control C to copy, but I'm going to do Control Shift V, and that will keep the same formatting. And that's big and kind of not my favorite. Now, if I swap it to an H4, then I'm breaking best practice, so it needs to stay in H3. Or I could change it all to a paragraph. So I think what I'm going to do is try it as a paragraph. Highlight it all, try it in paragraph form. I'm pretty sure that that's my preferred choice. Okay. And I'm not rewriting that yet, although I do think I want to rewrite it. And now I've got this list. Now I can just create a list item. Oh, it still thinks I'm in paragraph. Okay, well, that's fine. After. So I could just go with a straight list, but I happen to know that Cadence blocks has a list option as well. So I'm going to go here with the little browse all button so I can go through all the Cadence blocks and see, ooh, do I want an icon list? Now, the icon list is like, meh, do I really? I don't know, maybe, but here's the deal. The truth is, oh wow, tabs. Ooh, I like that. And then I'm going to do a tab. I haven't built one of these yet, so this is totally new for you and for me. Woohoo! Okay, so the initial style. Let's do the initial style. That's fine. Tab 1. I'm going to change how this works. So I'm going to make the tabs the name of the nonprofit. So we'll start with Survival International. The only reason I'm starting with Survival International, other nonprofits, is because that's the biggest name. Nothing against you all. I love you all, but they are the biggest name. So possibly the most recognizable. They might carry the most weight. So as far as like social proof, the Barnabas Connection. I don't know if I'm going to blow things out of the water too many times, so we'll see. Central Texas. I mean, look at that. That's Central Texas Theater Academy. And add another tab. Okay, drop down. That'll be all right. Wembley players. If that's the case, I'm renaming you. Tab 5 can be you know what? F. We are going to be CTTA. And what else? Pushing limits. And I know that's how we spell it because it's lost limbs. And okay, so now we can go to the different tabs and build them out. Right. So again, that's a block that we're going to add. And I think I want to put it inside a container. Oh, I know it's a lot of containers. I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave it and see what happens. Okay. So headlines then is Survival International is the first one. And I want to add a paragraph headline. And here we will say, oh, you know what? I think this is a good opportunity to just have a picture of Survival International. So instead of a headline, you stop. I'll do media and text. Let's see if I have Survival International. I do not. So, gotta go find them. Where are you? Somewhere close. Somewhere close. Right now I'm just searching for Survival International to see where they are. I've got my images named well, but they are kind of matched. They're just all over the place. So maybe they're not even in that folder. It's all right. They'll be in another folder. Probably this one. Nope. Sorry, this is probably so fun to watch, minus the watch part. And we're close. Where are you? Where are you, Survival International? I mean, you know what I should do? It's just pull it straight from this page. Yeah, you're right. I hear you. Okay, we're gonna do this a little bit different. I have later stuff. of image address. So now I'll go over here and I will, let's see, it didn't like that. I don't blame it. Okay. So I'm just gonna save them all again. I guess it's duplicating things, but I might as well make sure that I have them. What is that name? That's not my name. I didn't name that. Must have fixed it. Okay, there we go. So that'll pull it in. Now, interesting fact is the alt text is not there. I will be using RateMath to fix any images whose titles and meta are not set up properly. It will just take the title. Okay, so let's see. Maybe it's in general settings, images. So I say add missing alt attributes and use the file name. That's why it's important to name your files appropriately before you import them. And so tools like this can then fix your mistakes. Now, best practice, I'll go into the media folder and I'll actually, what I do is a bit of a shortcut. Because I name my files in a way that is accessible for visually impaired screen readers with the dash, I copy them and I just paste them in. So Survival International screenshot. Now, that is not saying that that's a great alt text. There are much better ways to add alt text, and I guess we can talk about it right now because I got nothing else I'm doing, but the alt text is for visually impaired people, right? Alternative text. Well, the alternative to what? To actually being able to see the image. Well, why do we have images on our website? That's the question. What does this image do for the site visitor? Okay. The image, in my opinion, conveys the reference to this organization that is meaningful and recognizable and impactful. Well, how do I take that information from the image and make it so that somebody who's visually impaired can access the concept behind the image? So instead of Survival International, I might put two, let's see, two native girls wearing customary jewelry, smiling at each other. Survival International helps their people, something like that, right? So they're not it's so that will convey the concept behind what I want the site visitor to see when they see Survival International. I'm legit because I help this group who helps these people. You know what I mean? That's the idea. And so what content do I want to add here? I mean, I could use this as a space to talk about Survival International, or I could use this space to talk about my partnership with Survival International. So I think I might use the space for both. So I'll go to Survival International and see, you know, I'll get their description, okay? And then I will add it here, but I don't want it a paragraph, right? I'm going to change that block to a headline, and I might make that a 3. No, Control Shift V keeps the, feel like that's too big, right? Is that an H2? That's an H2. That's an H3. Not a big fan yet, so we'll see what that does. I'll add another headline, and this one is going to be a paragraph headline for sure. And this might list, we partner with Survival International by providing consulting, digital marketing consulting, I guess. Digital marketing and SEM strategy. Oh yeah, and also social media marketing strategy. Okay. So let's update that and then see what it looks like. Hope it doesn't look like trash. So if you haven't watched one of my videos before, this being my second one ever, would make sense. Then you won't know that a lot of the bells and whistles that make Generate Press themes in combination with Generate Blocks and SiteGround and the SiteGround Optimizer incredibly fast also mean that when you review your page to see the changes, it's not always added. And so here we have it added, so that's good. But and that's really kind of big. Too big? Is that too big? Feels big. But what I do things. You go away. Okay. And okay. I feel like that's too big. Is that too big for you? So I'm going to go back into here and I'm going to select the outer container. Okay. And I'm going to say contained width. Let's see what that does. Now that change might not be felt here in the live version. All right. Yeah. That didn't do nothing. So I'm going to have to go back and fix that shortly. Okay. Oh, snap. Did I just do that? The whole thing? Oh, no, that's right. Okay. So I'm going to go out here and get the whole thing right. Contained width, full width, enter container, contained width. Let's make that 1200. And I don't want full width. We'll update, but we won't see the changes here. Like I was saying, we'll have to, if you preview it, then there's no cached version of the preview to pull from, so you should see all of your changes live. Okay. So we love nonprofits. There you go. See how it's not taking up the full width. and Barnabas, the others don't have anything yet. So cool. And I think we'll keep it going like that. So I'm going to stop there, and then I'll start again in a little while, maybe later this afternoon after I've taken some business calls or something. But yeah, hit me with some feedback. Let me know what you thought. Thanks.